Hey everybody, and welcome back, or welcome if you are new. Hello, hi. So, I have the house all to myself today. It is Sunday, it is a free day, and I went to Instagram and was like, you guys, I've got the whole house to myself. Please recommend videos you want to see that I can just, you know, be completely uninhibited with. And my friend Kayla over at Instagram said books based on kinks. So I was like, I can definitely do that. So today we're gonna be talking about some books based on kinks. That is a thing that we are going to do. I am a seasoned degenerate. However, I was like, you know what? Why don't I go on the Google and do some research on kinks that I perhaps didn't know anything about, you know, new things, okay? I went online and I curated a list of different kinds of kinks. There are so many. I found a website called Every Kink in the Alphabet, and there were so many, okay? So there's no way in hell I can cover all of this in one video, so I'm probably gonna have to do a part 2. But based on what I did find, let's begin, okay? But before we get started, if you are a fan of extreme horror, thrillers, and the smut, I think we are gonna be very fast friends. And in order to solidify this friendship, I'm gonna need you to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to notify yourself of when I post new stuff, and in order to keep up more with me, follow me on Bookstagram because I am way more active on there.
And now for the porn.
Now, the first kink we're gonna discuss is roleplay. And for this kink, I'm gonna be recommending the book Their Boy by Cara D. This is a male romance smut. This is hands down, to this day, the hottest smut I have ever fucking read. Okay, we follow this one sub and his 2 daddy doms, and they adopt him at the beginning of the book, and he's hesitant at first, but he's like, they are so hot, I want in. And when I say that I desperately wanted to switch places with this main character, like, I was so fucking jealous of this guy. And this book is like full of roleplay, and every single character just felt so real, and I related to the main characters so much. Like, I felt like I was in the story, and it was just everything to me, okay? The role-playing scenarios are hot. Everything about this book is just piping, steaming, fucking hot. And read the shit now, okay? There is something about Cara D's smut that is just so different, that just works for me as a person, and I love it, okay? Okay, so the next kink I thought would be funny to recommend a book on is tentacles. Now, for those of you who have heard of the term hentai, you will know that it is a woman fucking an alien or an octopus or a squid, and it's written by men for an audience of men. So I thought that I would subvert this trope and recommend a book that is male-male, okay? So for this trope, I'm gonna be recommending the book Tentacles and Triathlons. This is a monster smut book. The human guy at the beginning of the story has a very troubled encounter with a monster, which poses a problem because this book is set in a universe where monsters and humans coexist, okay? And then the other point of view we follow is from this kraken named Cyrus, and in one of the first scenes of the book, he comes into contact with the human guy who was traumatized at the beginning of the book, and his tentacle touches him, and the guy flinches away. But before the guy can flinch away, Cyrus detects that there was a bond between them because his mating tentacle touched him and he felt a feeling like never before. So what ensues is hijinks and smut and tentacles, and it is just a fun time, okay? Some of the scenes sounded rather painful. Like, I don't know how I would feel about a suction cup of a tentacle from a kraken going directly on the prostate. Like, that doesn't sound super appealing to me. But if that sounds appealing to you, tentacles and triathlons, okay? Go for it. So the next kink I'm gonna talk about is exhibitionism. Now, this is basically when someone gets off on being seen doing sexual acts, okay? So the book I'm gonna be recommending on this kink is one that I'm so fucking excited to talk about because I just finished reading it. It was one of my most anticipated books of 2023. How the fuck is it 2020? How is it March 2023? What the hell? Where does time go? I seriously don't know. Anyway, did I just rhyme? Pat on the back for rhyming. Anyway, so Nyla K. For those of you who haven't heard of Nyla K, my thoughts on her books are very well documented. I have 2 full videos on the book Push and the book Double Edged, and this is an author who doesn't give a fuck, okay? I honestly kind of respect her and am frightened by her. Needless to say, this book was one of my most anticipated books of the year, and it's called For the Fans by Nyla K. And this fits the exhibitionist kinks so perfectly because we follow these 2 stepbrothers whose rich father, his business goes under, and as a result they are pressed for cash, but they go to this college which is really expensive, and in order to pay for the amount of money needed to study in this school, they end up engaging in sexual acts on OnlyFans. OnlyFans. It's a stepbrothers OnlyFans romance, and it is so fucking hot, okay? Oh my gosh. Like, I was fanning myself. There were flames. Like, this is the kind of book where you are gonna have to look unbothered even though there is a swimming pool down there. Bitch. Anyway, so it was crazy. It was so steamy. It was so hot. The spice levels... Yes, Nyla, yes. Also, this has my favorite trope, which is enemies to lovers, because these guys fucking hate each other, okay? One of the brothers, Kieran, is a jock, and his other brother, Avi, is like this confident, cool emo kid, and you get the best of both worlds here, and Kieran fucking hates him for some reason. And Kieran is a resentful jock with a tragic backstory, and bitch. This book is 736 pages long. I devoured this thing in like 3 days because I just could not put it down. The tension, the will they, won't they, when are they gonna, when is he gonna say his feelings, when are they gonna, it was just so much. It was just crazy good. I loved it, I loved it, I loved it. So the next one we're gonna discuss is water sports. And that's like golden showers, pissing on people. Now, the only smut book I've read that has water sports is the book Azula, but that book is fucking terrible. It's a book about this teenage girl who one summer decides to f her whole family, dad, brothers, cousin, uncle. Like, it is a reverse incest harem. America, explain! Where she just gets it on with all of them and they pee on her and they don't use condoms.
I am confusion.
And it was just really a wild fucking time, and I sincerely hope my neighbors can't hear me because I'm gonna get in trouble. Anyway, so that book was terrible. I mean, if you're curious and you do read it, let me know what you think, but I was just like, not for me. Anyway, if you got any recommendations, like, this isn't really a kink I understand too much. It doesn't appeal to me, but if any of you have recommendations on books where this is done in a way that will be enticing to me, the reader, feel free to recommend, okay? Give them a shout out in the comments down below. Anyway, so next we're gonna talk about the kink impact play. So this is basically spanking.
I want to get my butt whipped with a nice wet paper towel.
And boy, do I have the book for you, okay? So, Anne Rice. She is someone who wrote very famous books like The Witching Hour and Interview with a Vampire, The Vampire Chronicles, Vampire Lestat, Interview with a Vampire, Queen of the Damned, etc, etc. But she also wrote some smut, okay? She wrote some erotica under a fake name because she didn't want her dad to find out that she was dabbling in the porn. Okay, so basically under the name A.N. Roquelaure, she wrote these books called The Beauty Books, and the first book in this series is called The Claiming of Sleeping Beauty. This one right here. So this is basically a retelling of Sleeping Beauty, but as an erotic story, okay? So we follow the Sleeping Beauty character who is awoken by this prince, and because of this, he takes her to this castle. So we find out what happens when he takes her to his castle, which is apparently a BDSM theme park where every single person is bisexual, okay? So it's a really fun time. There is girl on girl, guy on guy, girl guy, like everyone is doing everything with everyone. But what really stood out to me in this book was the amount of spanking, okay? There was spanking in every single fucking chapter. And I was just like, I don't understand this. I don't get this. What is this?
I am confusion.
People were getting spanked left and right. Like there was clubbing, there was flogging, and I was just like, what is going on? Either way, if you are into some impact play, if you want books with spanking and humiliation and shit like that, I definitely, oh, that's another kink, humiliation. Definitely gonna have to think of a better one for that because I don't want to do one book for 2 kinks because that's cheap. So maybe in a part 2, when I read more of the spicy stuff, I can have something for you, or if you have something that you want to share in the comments, go ahead. But for impact play and spanking, look no further than this book. So the next kink we are going to discuss is giants. Oh my gosh, this one was, I did not know that this was a kink, but like now I know, and now I know that I have the recommendation that you need in order to thrive with this kink because I gave this book 5 stars, okay? Now this is a manga series called The Titan's Bride. I have a full vlog on this series and you can watch it right now. I will try to link it down below. But basically in this manga, we follow this guy named Koichi who is transported to this mythical land of Utsil, which is run by giants, titans. And this one giant named Caius is like the heir to the king of Utsil or something. And he is told that there is this prophecy where the kingdom can only thrive and not be destroyed if he finds a bride. And Koichi just happens to be his bride. Now, this manga isn't finished, but it's kind of playing into a breeding kink, and I'm not mad, okay? But this is definitely a giant kink because there were so many scenes where a d that was the size of my fucking mom's minivan was shoved in. And I was so deeply concerned. I was like, dude, that warm feeling inside you is not a fucking orgasm, okay? It is internal bleeding. I could not believe what was happening in this book. But besides that, like the characters of Koichi and Caius just won my heart. Like I love them so much. The spicy scenes delivered, okay? I was just like on cloud 9 reading this manga. I can't wait for the next volumes to come out because I am just obsessed. I am loving it. There's also a bit of furry stuff in here for the furries out there. So if that's a kink that you want explored, definitely read volume 2. That's all I'm gonna say on that, okay? So another kink that sounded really interesting to me was FLR, and that is female-led relationships. So basically girl bossing it up. You know, female dominance, we love a girl boss. And for this one, I'm gonna be recommending 2 books, okay? The first one is They Never Learn by Lane Fargo, which is a female serial killer book, and it was girl power to the max. All the misogynists, they get what's coming to them in this book. And then another book in that same vein that I'm gonna recommend is the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey. This is a book about this woman with a tragic, horrible, dark past who is a serial killer. At the beginning of the book, she develops this relationship, infatuation with this guy who we find out is the FBI agent who is in charge of her case, okay? So shit goes down, but when I say that this was girl power, like boss bitch girl power, the writing is not fantastic, okay? But the plot is so strong, and this book has personality, okay? It's got flavor, it's got personality. It has more personality in its finger than like half the mainstream published books that came out in the past 10 years, okay? Quote me on that. I think all of them are on Kindle Unlimited, so be sure to check that out. It is so good, you're not gonna regret it. I highly recommend every single book in that series. Even friends of mine who weren't fans of the first book ended up really enjoying the subsequent books. It gets better and better and better, and just read the shit out of it. If you need any more proof and motivation, I've got a full vlog on this series, so be sure to watch this when you can. Thank you very much. Okay, so another kink that I desperately need to share is blood play, because I had no idea that this was like a thing. So I didn't really know if this was something I was into. We're not talking about my personal life, okay? We're talking about my book tastes. But as far as book tastes goes, oh my gosh, the book, we need to talk about Den of Vipers by K.A. Knight. This is basically a book about this girl named Roxy, and she's like this punk goth chick. She's got white hair, makeup, punk clothes, and the book opens up with us finding out that her dad has sold her to the mafia. So it's basically this gang called the Vipers. You have the leader, writer, the smart one, Kenzo, the torturer, fucking Diesel, who, oh my, Diesel Viper is my actual boyfriend. Rysand, I don't know him. And then you've got Garrett, who is like the muscular, like brooding edgelord kind of guy. And the reason I'm recommending this book on this list is because the knife scene. If you know, you know. If you want to know and don't know, watch the vlog I did on Den of Vipers. It is full spoilers, so if you don't feel like reading a 650-page book, but would still like to know everything that happens in that book, I would recommend just checking this vlog out, okay? There is a scene with a knife, and this was one of the best smut scenes I have ever fucking read. Someone gets cut and blood gets used as like a lubricant. I was in a good place, okay? I was in a good fucking place. And last but not least, and I'm not gonna take this one too seriously because, I had no words when I was reading about this. So the final kink we're gonna discuss today is scat, which is basically sexual arousal from shitting on each other.
This is beautiful butt juice.
And the book I'm gonna recommend is not a smut, but actually an extreme horror book, and that is Chocolate Man by Jonathan Butcher. Okay, this book had such graphic descriptions of feces. I don't even know how to describe this thing. It is both hilarious and scary. Like, you will emerge from this book feeling like you have picked up a warm, fibrous log of shit with your bare hand. Trust me. So for any of you scat people out there, here's a book for you. Chocolate Man by Jonathan Butcher. Make it happen. And yeah, so I definitely do want to do a part 2 of this video at some point. If you have any kinks in mind, comment them down below so I know which books to pair them with, and consequently, if you have any recommendations of books that match these kinks that you desperately want to see me read or talk about or, you know, review, comment them down below as well. Also, if you made it this far into the video, please leave this sweat, quote-unquote, emoji over here, because, I don't know, it just fits the vibe, okay? But until then, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I hope to see you all in future videos, and as always, take care. I lose myself